Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do all sorts. And today we have another Scrawlrbox. Now if you don't know, Scrawlrbox is an art subscription box here in the UK where you can get different art supplies and an art prompt and you make something with those supplies. I'm not sponsored, not affiliated, just a huge fan. Right, and so this is June's box and I cannot wait to get into it. So without further ado, let's see what we can get in this box. And we get... Ooh. So here we have our art supplies, which we'll look at last because I want to see what else is in the box. So here we have June's Scrawlrbox. These are fantastic because they'll give you the lowdown of all of the supplies that you've got, about the featured artists, hints and tips, and even a little art history as well. But this is really interesting. It's the first time that I've received a Scrawlrbox that's got a face on it. Ooh, I'm actually quite intrigued to know what that's all about. So, and in order to do that, we have to see what else we get. And this is the featured artist's work, which for once actually matches the Scrawlrbox, which is like really weird. So the first time we've had a face on the Scrawlrbox, and the first time they actually match. And I actually really quite like how like minimalistic it is, where it's just the eyes, the nose, and like a bit of foliage. And there's like a bit of dripping, so I'm assuming that we're going to be working with watercolours or something. And our featured artist is Tessa Harris, and ooh, she lives in Wales, UK. And there's her info if you'd like to have a look at more of her work, right? And our paper for this month is Gold Line Watercolour Studio Pad. So we are working with watercolours by the looks of it. So we get 10 sheets, they're 200 GSM, £90, called prep, whatever that is in inches, but it looks A5 to me. And it's made from a mix of cotton and lignin and free cellulose. It's acid free with excellent archival qualities. Internally and externally designed making sheet very absorbent, suitable for a variety of medium, including watercolour, gouache, acrylic, ink, charcoal and pencil. And my favourite thing is that it's produced exclusively for Scrawlrbox. So it is quite a thick paper and it's quite textured. So now all of that is back in the box. Let's see what our supplies are. And we get... Ooh, how very intriguing. So we've got another wrapped up parcel, which I have never seen before. You know, and sometimes we can get like a little box or something, but this is the first time I've seen something wrapped. And I can actually feel the shape as well, so I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself here. So anyway, first off with the scroll sticker, which matches the featured artist's art and the Scrawlrbox. And also sweet for this month is the Fruity Nets, which I'm assuming is hard-boiled sweet. And so here we have 3 watercolour pencils by Derwent. So we've got Ivory Black, Prussian Blue and Terracotta. And that's what the colours look like, and we will be testing them out later. And this is the instruction list, and which we'll look at the end because I don't want to spoil the rest of it. And up next we have a size 8C white paintbrush, which I'm assuming that these are synthetic paintbrushes, so it's got a white tip and it's nice and long. Now one thing that I don't like about white bristles is the fact that these do stain extremely easily and nigh on impossible to get rid of. But it's nice to have a large brush. And last but not least, I get to see what we actually get in this separate package. And we get, ooh, now this is interesting. So we've gone to 3 little containers full of something. It says Jackman's Art Materials, and this one is Mint Green Shimmer, Pearlescent Pink Shimmer, and Pearlescent Silver Shimmer. Scared to actually open it. Oh, ooh, now that's interesting. It's actually paint. I was expecting like pigment powders or something. Ooh, now that's very, very interesting. Ooh, can't wait to try that out. But something's quite sticky. Don't know when that's come from, so I'll have to clean that up a bit. Alright, so now we've looked into everything, and we'll get to do one of my favourite parts, and that's the experimenting. No, and just something sweet, and wow, it was so nice. It was one of those when it looks like a hard-boiled sweet, but it's got a really soft centre to it, which is what I really do love. But anyway, it was really nice. Alright, so I've got my paper here. I've cleaned up what I could, and I think the pink was actually leaking a bit, but I don't know if it was off another one or what, but I can't see anything wrong with it. So that explains why that was sticky. So first of all, I'm going to try on the watercolour pencils. I am also very sorry if my camera keeps focusing in and out, so you'll just have to bear with me. Ooh, sounds like super creamy. And so now we get to see how these work out. Alright, and there we are. Now I personally don't like using watercolour pencils because I like when all of the lead actually melts away, but you can still see it on the grain. Maybe if you do a line it enough, then you won't be able to see it as much, but it does actually blend out really well. And now I'm trying out these. Again, never really seen paint in a pot. And there we go, first casualty of one. This is what I mean by I don't like using white bristles because you see everything. But I do love how this is like a watercolour paint, so you can get different variations of how light and dark you want it. So that I do like. That not so much. Alright, and so there we have it. I absolutely love how vibrant these colours are. You can't see the silver one as well because it's metallic and my lighting situation isn't exactly ideal. You can see that there is a little bit of a shimmer, so I really do love how pigmented those are. The pink one I've already made enemies with by just that one being very sticky, and I had to clean the inside of the lid just to get rid of all of the excess, which otherwise would have been disastrous and would have went all over my hands, all over my table. So yeah, there's a love-hate relationship already. And of course the pencils are a little bit more translucency, if that's the word it is now. So we've got a variety of colours and they all work well within like their supply group, I suppose. The pencils work well together and the paints work well together. I wouldn't necessarily put all of these together, but you know, there lies in the challenge. Speaking of which, the scroll challenge for this month is Ethereal Entity. Mystical beings and are not made of ordinary matter. Now, I've never actually done anything like this before, so this is going to be interesting, especially with all of the colours that we've got. So I'm going to have a think about this and I will get back to you. Alright, so I had some time to think about it, and the first thing that came to mind was like some kind of forest spirit, and I came up with a very simple design of like a woman's face looking downwards and just in a bit of foliage. I didn't want to go like too super detailed with this because I do have a really big paintbrush, but I am actually hoping to do sort of like a bit more abstract, I suppose, way of doing a watercolour. You know, normally when I do it, it's a bit more refined. Now I want to do like splashes of colour and like the water doing the work, you know, and just something a bit different that I've never done before. I've did antlers and I've even done like ash leaves, which I never knew what they were called until I went searching on Google. So you learn something new every day. That's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to go and grab a palette and we'll get on with it. And I have no plan going in, I'm just going to lend the pencils and the paintbrush do it for me. So right now I'm just going in with like a shadow colour. Alright, so this is actually in dried a little bit, and then you can actually see some of the shimmers, which is like really cool. Alright, and there we have it. I have to admit I really didn't love doing this. And I have actually used this technique in doing backgrounds in watercolour pieces, but never actually in the image itself. And honestly, I think it turned out really well. I mean, I love how the colours all mixed together, I loved how everything worked, and overall I really enjoyed doing this. As you've seen, I went in with the dark shadows on the face first, and then I just wetted everything and just started doing dabs of colour, and then, you know, and done the same with the leaves and the hair, and then I just kept building up on it, and once it was dry, and then in some places I did refine it a bit, like around the eyes, and a bit more in the leaves, just to sort of like differentiate from the other bits that were going in the background. You know, everything was on the fly, and you know what, I think it actually worked really well together. So on to the supplies. These are actually really nice to work with. I still don't like them because they don't dissolve well, but again, it's like down to personal preference. They're good to outline and soften up certain features, like I've done around the nose and around the lips, you know, and just to bring them out a bit more. So really simple to use. Then do activate with water. But, you know, they're really nice if you want to give watercolour pencils a try. And the colours are really nice, and it did actually help like when like colour mixing. So long as you put the pencils down first and then go on top with the paints. As you can see, I've gone like a lot of nice purple shadows in there, which really helped a lot. These watercolours, now what can I say about these? They worked absolutely beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. You know, I've never seen them in a jar like this before. You know, they were super convenient. You can pack them away in small places. They really were very thick to use, so you do need to have water. I mean, I'm putting them in a palette, and this had been drying for a couple of days, and they reactivated so beautifully. You can transfer them into your own travel tin, and you know, they will reactivate. And not only that, but the camera is sort of picking up there, but you can see how beautifully that shimmers, especially on the lips. Only downside for me is that if you do lean on it, you are going to get that shimmer all over your hands, you know, kind of like graphite, but that's the only downside to it that I can think of. Otherwise, they are beautifully pigmented. You can dilute them to whatever strength you want, whether you want it a bit thicker, whether you want it a bit thinner. They are beautifully opaque. As I mentioned, they worked really nicely on top of the watercolour pencils, so if you can, I would highly recommend trying these out for yourself. I don't know where this is from, it just says Jackman's Art Materials, but have a look and see for yourself. And they are quite small, but they will last you a very, very long time. And the paintbrush, well, paintbrush and did what I had to do. I do actually like using the sea wind paintbrushes. It held an awful lot of water. I even had to dampen some of an awful lot because it did retain quite a lot of water, and did actually help in the larger areas, so it's a really good alternative. The paper itself and held them watercolours really beautifully. I really like the texture of it. It's not too rough and it's not too smooth. Only downside to it is how much it buckled, and as you saw, it buckled really badly. What I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to go on to the back side and just put water on it, and just to try and flatten it out a bit. Not perfect, but at least until it starts out the buckling quite a bit. But yeah, the paper was actually really good. So once again, it's another great box from Scrawlrbox. So if you guys would like to have your own Scrawlrbox, I will leave a link in the description box below. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.